Hi everybody, welcome to class. Today we're going to work on General ELDOA and maybe a couple of other sort of key levels of the spine, but I'm going to break down the General ELDOA a little bit more slowly so that when we come back into classes, those of you who aren't as familiar with General ELDOA will feel a little bit more comfortable with it. So this is a shorter video. It's going to be focused on General ELDOA, but we will do a couple of ELDOAs following. So we have to get started. We need to warm up. So if you can find a space for yourself, I'm going to come onto my mat. You can see me here. And we're just going to start with an inhale up. So arms go all the way up and then all the way down. And I'm just using this to get my shoulders moving. It's kind of morning still. It's pretty dreary out. So I'm just going to try and use my breath and some gentle movement of my arms, inhaling up. Leave your fingertips touching and just float over towards one side, lift up and float over towards the other side. And I don't really care which side you go to, but I want you to let your spine gently side bend from side to side. We're going to go one more each side. And can you use your breath? Exhale to side bend. Inhale to stack, exhale to side bend, and inhale to stack, and then relax your arms down by your sides, roll both shoulders back. So we have a nice, easy movement, shoulders both forward. You may or may not feel really movable, or maybe you're feeling a little stiffer today, so you just go with whatever feels good. Float your arms up in front and retract and protract your shoulder blades. Take some nice deep breaths into your back. Drop your arms, let them just swing. Start moving your toes. So I'm lifting and lowering each set of toes. Circle your wrists at your sides while you do that. So the toes are swapping up and down. My wrists are drawing huge, my fingertips are drawing huge circles around. And I'm going to switch the circles other way with my fingertips and bring my arms slightly out in front of me. Keep your toes going, keep your fingertips swirling around and grow taller. So you're standing back to back with your best friend and you're trying to be taller, or your sibling or whoever you want to be taller than. And relax your arms down by your sides, pedal through your feet. So you just peel one heel off and then put it down. And we're gonna go for ideally no bouncing. So you don't fall on your heel, but you're placing it down while you pull the other heel up so that your foot is getting stretched. And I'm gonna go ahead and bend my wrists forward and back. Nice easy breaths as I do this. I'm gonna splay my fingers and let my palms open because I'm opening the soles of my feet with this pedal and I'm opening the palms of my hands with a gentle stretch. So we're gonna go a few more seconds here. Maybe this is a good pace. You could go a little faster if you're feeling it, or slower if you prefer. And I'm gonna add just a little bit of forward and back through my pelvis. So a little bit of anterior, posterior tilt, which you'll find makes the balance part of it a little bit trickier, but stay with it. 10 more seconds of this. Anterior, posterior tilt to the pelvis. Back and forth with the wrists. Opening the palms of the hands and the soles of the feet. Keeping the spine tall, don't get shorter, get taller, and then straight into a march. So warm up is going to be a bit abbreviated today because I said I want to focus on General ELDOA. And I'm going to change my arms, keep my legs, but change my arms to reach out, out, out. And they're higher than my chest. I'm reaching palms facing forward like I want to embrace something, lifting my legs, keeping my spine tall. Now arms go up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, arms in front. 4, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, to the side. 4, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Let's do 4 of everything. So reach up. 4, 3, 2, front. 4, 4, 3, 2, and side. 4, 4, 3, 2, and up. 4, 4, 3, 2, to the front. 4, 4, 3, 2, side. 4, 3, 2 of everything. 2 up, 2 front, 2 side. Again, we go up and front and side. One more time. Are you ready for singles and side? Here we go. One of each. Front. Whoa, no, I said it wrong. Up, front, side. Up, front, side. Up, front, side. Up, front. 4 more sets. Here we go. Faster. Front, side. 3 and 2 and 4 more bonus rounds. Go. 4 and front, up, front, side. Last 3, last 2, last 1. And then you go back to regular marching and you let your arms hang. And you feel your feet peeling up and down off the floor, as silent as they can be. Walking your feet out. Maybe don't look. Are my feet exactly shoulder distance apart? Can I feel them shoulder distance apart? And can I just shift my weight from side to side? Bend my elbows about 90 degrees, so my upper arms, my humerus is staying close to my body. And I'm just making a figure 8 with the forearms as I sway side to side. My wrists are also swapping side to side. And then I'm going to reach my arms out more and use those upper arms away from the body as I make a figure of 8. I'm going to go a little bit slower so that I know I'm tracing as big of a figure 8 as I can. We are going to work on lemniscats as well today. So I want our brains to get into the figure 8 mode. General ELDOA and lemniscats. Here we go. Last 2 and last 1. Okay, bring yourself with your feet back underneath you. Soften your knees. Still find a little bit of length out through the crown of your head and take your hips on a figure of 8. So you're drawing a infinity symbol. This one might be more of an infinity symbol with your pelvis. And then you're reversing it, going the other way. And I'm trying to keep my ribs not still. I'm not holding them still, but I want the movement to be at my pelvis. Sacrum, 2 pelvic halves. The lumbar spine is, of course, moving as well. And then I'm going to bring my feet right together, knees right together, hands on my knees, and I'm going to go for a figure of 8. This is a vertical figure of 8 with my knees. So I go in one direction for about 5 or 6 rounds, and then I'm going to swap it, see if I can reverse. So figure of 8 the other way, thinking all in lemniscats or figures of 8. Let's do 2 more. And then 1 more. And then come up to tall. Walk your feet apart. Bring your arms out to the side for a bit of balance. Find a small posterior tilt. Shift your weight to your right leg. Float your left leg up. And let's do an infinity symbol here with the knee. It doesn't have to be really high up, but it could be if you want. So you decide. Knee lower than belly button or at the height of the belly button. Last 2. That was the easier side for me. Let's see how it goes on the other side. Arms still out, long spine, small posterior tilts. Float the right leg off, balance on the left. And here we go for an infinity symbol, drawing in the air with your knee. Good. Can you still get taller? Even as you focus on the moving leg, can you focus on the spine getting taller for last 2 and last 1. And then come down. Heel to walk your feet wide. Turn your toes and knees in. I'm going to step forward a little bit. I'm going to bend my knees, hands on the pelvis. Good old posterior, anterior tilts. So this is not a lemniscat, obviously, but it's about moving our pelvis and our low back. Can you feel your tailbone reaching down to the floor and pulling the lumbar vertebrae with it? So the tailbone reaches down and then all of a sudden there's like a stretch from the waistline all the way down through the lumbar vertebrae to the tailbone. Posterior, anterior. 1 more posterior tilt. Keep that. Arms reaching out to the sides. Internal and external rotation. One goes one way, the other goes the other way. The spine is still long. And in fact, your tailbone is pulling down so much that your lumbar spine is getting a gentle stretch. and I'm gonna go side to side with my ribs, translating my ribs, but my tailbone and lumbar spine are still stretching down into the floor. 4 more, 3, 2, and 1. Reach way over, put your hand down, left arm goes overhead, and I stretch. It's morning, I'm gonna go slow here. So reach the tailbone down, let the neck spine lengthen, and open up the side of your body. Every time you reach, it's a pulsing stretch. 4, 2, and 1, come all the way up. Find your posterior tilt again, long lumbar. Float the head up off the shoulders. Translate your ribs to the left. Yes. Then here we go. Right arm goes overhead. Slow pulsing stretch. So maybe 1 second per reach. Reach and reach. Check in on your tailbone. It's still reaching down. Your lumbar spine is still long. Let's do 3, 2, and 1, and come all the way up. Last thing here, bring your feet back in underneath you. I'm gonna turn to the side. We support ourselves on our knees. I'm gonna move my pelvis, posterior, anterior. So again, lumbar spine, tailbone, sacrum, and the 2 pelvic halves are moving. I'm gonna keep going here for just a moment and see if I can keep my thoracic and neck spines quite long. And then I'm gonna include my thoracic spine. So curling through my tailbone, include the thoracic spine, and then release the tailbone, let the thoracic spine lengthen back out. So I round all the way up to about the level of the collarbones, and then I release all the way out. One more time, rounding up to about the collarbones, and then releasing the tailbone and going out to straight. Now the neck spine is included. So we get a full rounding of the spine and then a full lengthening. First thing in the morning, this is a little bit harder. Yeah, there's a little less mobility, I find anyways. Curling the tailbone under, round neck spine, and then releasing the tailbone and letting everything lengthen out. Let's do 1 more, curling up. If you can, stay here, let your arms hang, and then roll up through your spine, 1 bone at a time. And then we'll come down to a seated position. Okay, so to work through our general ELDOA, there's a few things we want to work on. So one of them is inversion and eversion, or pseudo inversion, eversion of the feet. So you sit tall, or you can recline back if your hip flexors are screaming at you. And what I'm going to do is take both feet and have them look in, and then take both feet and have them look out. You may find, like my feet, that your feet don't do exactly the same thing. My inversion is slightly less on this foot than the other one. So both feet inverted, pseudo-inverted, looking in. Both feet pseudo-everted, looking out. Now, if I would turn them the same way, then one is inverted, one is everted, and then switch. So in this case, here we go. We go left foot inverted, right foot everted, and switch. Now I'm mirroring you, so hopefully that's what you're seeing and feeling. And inversion and eversion. Back to both of them doing the same thing. Inversion, eversion, inversion, eversion, and then them doing each one of each. One goes inversion, one goes eversion, inversion, eversion, and relax your legs, give them a shake. Let them separate a little bit, and we'll go for internal, external rotation. And I am letting my heels, we had talked about this in class, letting your heels slide. So there's a difference between keeping your heels static and pulling your toes in and out. That's one sensation of inversion, or of internal and external rotation. Then there's the sensation of your heels going out and your heels going in, and it's just a different movement. So try both. I've been experimenting more with the heel sliding, but you have to have a floor that allows your heels to slide. Okay, so there's the first thing. We'll come back to that. Bring your arms out in front of you. You can sit in any comfortable position you like. Find your external rotation and flatten your palms. Arm, let's say the right arm is going to come up towards the ear. And can you feel that your pinky finger is kind of pointing forward towards me, and your thumb is kind of pointing to the wall behind you. And then bring that arm down, and then let's go with the other arm. So there's my external rotation. Can I keep that external rotation, keep the palm open, and feel the fingers reach out in their respective directions? And I'm going to try and have my arm close to my head. Now, if your arm only goes up to here, that's fine. Reach from there. Totally fine. Still trying to keep the spine long. Right arm up, external rotation, pinky and thumb reaching away from each other. And then left arm up, external rotation, pinky and thumb stretching away. And then relax your arms down. Okay, here we go with General ELDOA. So I'm going to start lying down on my back. Because this class is a little bit about lemniscats as well, I'll come back to the spine lemniscat and we'll see how that feels after. So for now, just notice how your spine feels on the mat. And we notice we have maybe a lumbar curve, your neck curve. Start with a little posterior tilt of your pelvis. So that means my lumbar spine is lengthening and sinking into the floor, and then I'm going to let it release. And then my lumbar spine lengthens again, posterior tilt, and then release it, anterior tilt. And let's do just a couple more of those, posterior and anterior. I'll exaggerate it a little bit here on the video, but you know what it is, posterior and anterior. And in your posterior tilt, can you actually lengthen from your waistline down and anterior? Okay, so I'm going to keep a bit of a posterior tilt. I'm going to look down over my cheekbones, so a lengthening of the neck spine first, and then looking over the cheekbones, a nod right from up at that top joint. Fold one leg in, don't stop breathing, breath is important here. Hold on to that knee and then fold the other leg in. Keep your long spine. So at this point, my goal is to have as many of my 24 mobile vertebrae into the floor and stretching at the same time. Now I'm going to cross my hands to hold the opposite knee. So my wrists are crossed. My knees are pulled right in over my torso as much as possible. Flex both of your feet and then shine both of your feet to one side and the other side. So practicing this inversion, eversion combo. The foot that's looking out is everted. The foot that's looking into your midline is inverted. Inversion and eversion. Just keep going back and forth. Good. Okay, so let's just come back to that in a bit. Relax your feet. I want you to take your right arm out and bring it back towards your ear. If you're in a flat palm with external rotation, your thumb is pointing down, pinky finger is pointing up. Then I'm going to take the opposite leg, the left leg, and slide it down along the mat and just flex the foot for now. Can you feel your heel of your foot and the heel of your hand reaching away? And you do want the leg to be resting on the floor if possible. From here, the spine stays long. If I think of my posterior chain, I'm still stretching, it's still work. Think of my posterior chain running all the way down the back of my body to this long heel. I'm going to bring the heel slowly up over my hip, pause over my hip, push my heel up to the ceiling, increase the length of that posterior chain, and then fold that knee in and bring your arm to that knee. Your wrists are crossed again. Release the other arm. So this is my left arm going overhead. My right foot is sliding down and my right leg rests along the mat. Both feet flex. I'm going to check in on my spine. Is it still flat and long? Am I reaching through the arm overhead? Am I reaching through the heel down below? And can I maintain my spine and increase the tension on the posterior chain by stretching my heel away and up to the ceiling? And then I fold that leg in and bring my left hand to my right knee. So I'm going to go, right arm goes back by my ear, left leg goes long. Flex both of your feet and feel the long leg and the long arm creating a diagonal stretch. You're going to bring your leg up over your hip, increase the stretch on the posterior chain, so make sure that spine stays long. And then fold your knee in, bring your hand to the opposite knee, release your left arm. Bring your right leg down to the floor, flex both feet. Push the long limbs away so you create a diagonal, but stay long and centered in your spine. And then can you feel the posterior chain increase in tension as your leg goes up over your hip and pushes the ceiling away? And then fold the knee in. Okay, so put your feet down one at a time, take a little bit of a break. Let's do our spine lemniscat number 1, and then we'll go into a bit more full-fledged version of the General ELDOA. So spine lemniscat here, take a breath in. On your exhale, drop your lumbar spine into the floor, lift your sternum to the ceiling, and nod your chin and let your neck spine sink. So sternum up, neck spine down, lumbar spine down, and I'm still going to try and create length. Even though I'm going in with this curve through my spine, I'm lengthening it. And then right away I'll release it and let it go. So 3 times we're going to do that in a row, kind of a pulse into the lemniscat and then release, and then a pulse into the lemniscat and then release. So take a breath in. Here we go, lumbar spine down, exhale, sternum up, neck spine down. Lengthen those curves, but keep lumbar down, sternum up, neck down, and then release. Again, breathing in. Exhale, lumbar down, sternum up, neck spine down. Can you stretch it long along your mat? Keep your sternum lifted, keep your neck and lumbar down, and then release. And one more time, take a breath in. Exhale, curl your tailbone, drop the lumbar, lift the sternum, lengthen the neck spine, get that nice lemniscat, reverse the curves, and then release, fully release. Okay, back into General ELDOA, this time with a little bit of extras. So I'm going to fold my knees in, cross my hands to the opposite knee. So my legs, my arms are making this cross. I'm going to flex my feet. I'm going to shine both of my feet, the soles of my feet. Maybe if I go on an angle here. Let's see. Does it make sense if you see this way? Let's try that. So I'm going to say shine both of my feet over to one side. Let's say to the left. Release my right arm overhead, external rotation, flat palm. I'm going to keep my feet where they are. Inversion on the right leg, eversion on the left leg. Oh, actually I have to switch my feet. Sorry everybody. Shine your feet to the right. Now I'm going to lower my left leg down to the floor. The long leg is going to internally rotate, so it's going in. It's internally rotated. And my bent leg still has an everted foot. So long leg, internal rotation, with inversion of the foot, bent leg, eversion. And then same as before, I'm going to keep my spine long and flat, bring that long leg up in its internal rotation with a flat foot, and then I'm going to fold the arm and the leg in, shine my feet over to the left, release your left arm, slide your right leg down to the floor, internally rotate your right leg, and then float your leg up over your pelvis. Keep the leg internally rotated, the foot inverted, and then draw the knee in, shine your feet over to the right. Release the right arm and the left leg. Your left leg should be internally rotated, foot inverted. Keep reaching through that left heel as it floats up. Keep the internal rotation of the leg, and then fold that knee in, feet both shine to the left. Let your left arm go overhead. Let your right leg go down, internally rotate the right leg, invert the foot, and bring the leg up over your hip, internally rotate it, invert that long foot, and fold in. Let's do one more time. Feet shine over to the right arm and the left leg release. I keep my spine long and flat. Internally rotate the long leg and bring it up over the hip. And fold it in, shine both feet to the left. Arm goes overhead, maintain your spine, turn your right leg in. Push your arm overhead more as you bring your right leg up, push the ceiling away, and then fold the leg in and release the feet. And then you can put your feet down one at a time and just rest there on the mat for a moment. Let's stay there for a couple of breaths. And let's just go into a nice neck ELDOA here. So find your posterior tilt, lumbar spine down. Maybe lengthen your neck spine first and then nod from up between your ears. Float your arms up over your chest and externally rotate your arms and flatten your palms to the ceiling. Let's bring one leg in at a time to a tabletop position, slightly flexed foot. And I'm going to try and stretch my spine out along the mat. So give yourself some good traction along the mat. Take a breath in. On your exhale, bring your arms down to about the height of your knees. So they're 45 degrees from the floor, and they're quite close to my knees. From here, I'm going to push my arms away, and I'm going to nod my chin a little more and see if I can stretch my spine out along the mat while I reach my arms on this angle. We're at the level of C3-4. Can you sink your ribs into the floor? Can you rock up onto the top of your sacrum, that bone at the base of your spine? And can you push your arms further away from you as you breathe? We're going to hold for about another 30 seconds or so, and you're going to see if you can lengthen at the level of your hairline. Eyes are down, the throat and the jaw are soft. We're lengthening the spine underneath us, opening the palms. Can your pinky finger open as well as your thumb? Let's do 10 more slow seconds. Reach the arms out on this angle. Breathing, calm breath, longer and longer spine. Push the arms further, externally rotate them, and then soften one arm at a time. Keep your spine and your eyes. Soften your feet. Relax your pelvis, relax your spine, and let your eyes come back up to the ceiling. Okay, so we're moving on from general ELDOA and neck. I'm going to go to L3-4 and L4-5. I feel like those are two levels that a lot of us need. So when you're ready, you're going to roll onto your side and come on up to a seated position. Let's start with L4-5 because the positioning is a little bit, I think, a little bit simpler. I'm going to have my feet or my legs at two 90-degree angles. So the shin to thigh bone angle is 90 degrees. And I am trying to sit up fairly nice and tall on my sit bones. If you can think about your sternum and your pubic bones kind of making this perfect line through the center of your body. And then allow your rib cage to move back towards the wall behind you. So let's keep that position there. And I just want you to float your arms up out in front of your chest and do an external and internal rotation. External and internal. Now we were going to talk about lemniscate, so let's try that here. I want you to externally rotate your upper arm. Keep that upper arm bone externally rotated. Let your lower arm bones internally rotate, and then let your wrist externally rotate and flatten your palm. So I have external rotation of the upper arm, internal rotation of the lower arm, external rotation of the wrist. And then I'm going to try the other side as well. External, internal, external. It's a lot to think about. Can you do both at the same time? Both upper arm bones, humeruses, externally rotate. From the elbow to the wrist, you get internal rotation. From the wrist to the fingertips, external rotation. And then relax your arms down. Woo, that's a lot of work. Okay, sitting tall on your sit bones. We'll come back to that. Flex your feet. We've been practicing eversion so much. So let's do eversion. Shine your feet down to the floor. The outside edge of my foot is still in lots of contact with the floor, and I'm pulling my toes up towards me. And now I'm going to use my hands to drop my knees down and then release them up. Down and up, and down and up and down. And you'll find you can press your knees down. They may not go very far, but what we want is that extra tension and grounding through the lower limbs. So here we go. Press the knees down, keep them there. Get a little bit taller through your spine. It's only a minute, so let's just go for it. Pull your toes up, evert your feet, shine them into the floor. Bring your arms out in front of you, externally rotate them, no lemniscate yet, flatten your palms. I'm going to draw my ears back, my rib cage back. I'm going to take an inhale. Arms up, exhale. Push the ceiling away, and yes, my shoulders get to lift a little bit. I'm going to let my eyes drift down towards the floor in front of me, and I'm going to tuck my chin in and bring my neck spine and my rib cage back. Now, as I reach my arms up past my ears, my toes are pulling up. This is L4, right? My feet are looking down, my knees are pressing down. L4, about an inch below the belly button. So can you float from that inch below the belly button level? Can you lift it up, float it up to the ceiling, and aid it with your arms reaching? And then at the same time, ground down through your knees, sit bones, and feet. So the whole body is active, and we're well halfway through. So let's open the palms, keep the toes and the knees strong. Press down through L5, lift up through L4, and add a lemniscate of the arms. External rotation, internal rotation, external rotation. So upper arm bone turns out, lower arm bones turn in, wrist bone turns out. You can stay with it, look down at the floor, draw your eyes down, tuck your chin, get your neck to lengthen up away from your spine, drop your tailbone into the floor and breathe for 3, 2, and 1. Soften one arm, soften the other arm, relax your feet, relax your spine. Take a couple of breaths. If you have to lean forward a little bit, allow yourself that. Try not to fold too much, just rest. Take a rest. And if you like, go ahead and just sort of sway side to side a little bit so that your spine gets a bit of movement after all that effort. Now here our legs were at two 90-degree angles. I'm going to ask you to lengthen that diamond way out to the point where it's a very long diamond. So if you're looking down at your legs, I'll stand up here. If you're looking down at your legs, it should look kind of like that, like just a very little diamond. So you're seated, but instead of this position with your legs, it's more like that. And we're still having the feet active and the knees dropping down towards the floor. So practice that for a couple of seconds here. Can you have, with your knees dropping out and away and your toes pulling up, and that famous eversion of your feet? And then relax your legs. Give them a little shake, shake, shake. This has been a lot of work for the legs. We're gonna just take a couple of windshield wipers. L3 is about the level of the belly button. So if you can think behind your belly button, that's where we're gonna lift from. That vertebra gets pulled up off of the rest of the spine. Okay, so here we go. We're gonna bring the legs out into that long diamond that you already know. Relax your feet for now. Your arms, bring your left arm up and just open it out wide. And pause here for a second and see if you can connect or relate your left hand to your right knee. So there's this connection from the hand all the way down through my body to this knee. And I find that diagonal through my spine. And then try the other side. Bring your right arm up, open it out, and just connect. You don't have to press so much, but connect the hand all the way down through the spine to the knee. And then we'll soften and relax. Here we go. Flex your feet. Evert your feet. So your toes are pulling up and your feet are looking down And then start to drop the knees into the floor. Press your knees down. It's a lot of effort. It's going to be okay though. It's temporary. Bring your arms out in front of you. Externally rotate your arms and flatten your palms. See, this is where having a live class is nice. We have the mutual support of all the people around us. Bring your ears and your spine back. Let's sit up tall like we're up against a wall. And here we go. Inhale your arms up, straight up. Exhale, push them into the ceiling. Drop your knees down. So find that connection. Now you're going to let your eyes drift down to a few feet in front of you and draw your ears, your neck spine, and your rib cage back. Make sure your sternum isn't pushing forward. When you feel ready, I want you to open your arms out to a V and see if you can connect opposite knee to the heel of the opposite hand. So connect your right knee pressing down to your left hand pushing away. And connect your left knee pushing down to your right hand pushing away, and make sure those 4 points are active. The arms are reaching, the knees are pressing. Keep reaching through the arms, pressing down through the knees, and globally lengthen your spine by sitting taller and taller. And remember, L3 floats up, L4 anchors down, using the legs, using the feet, everted position with the feet. My eyes are down and my arms are reaching and I'm breathing. So everything is working. The whole body is in a good tension, the kind of tension that you can grow. You can keep growing. We're holding for 10, 9, lift level L3 off of L4, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Softening one arm, softening the other arm, relaxing the feet, the legs, and the spine. All right, I think it's time for L5S1. So let's put our mats at the wall. Hopefully you have a wall space that you can use. All right, that should work. I'm gonna scoot my hips right up towards the wall. You know how this goes. Legs up the wall. Take a couple of breaths here and let your spine settle. Maybe look down and make sure that you're in a nice centered position. I see myself on the thing. Okay. Okay, everybody, we made it. I don't know if this was actually a short class. It was meant to be. Maybe it wasn't. Okay. Here we go. Oh, flexing and pointing my feet. Letting my pelvis posteriorly, anteriorly tilt. Okay. Can I keep my lumbar spine down? And can I breathe in and lengthen it? So every time I exhale, it sinks a little more. And then every time I inhale, it lengthens a little bit more. So I exhale, ribs, waist, lumbar down. Inhale, lengthen the whole spine. And I'm going to see if I can lengthen my neck, nod from up between my ears, sink my sternum down, and float my arms up. Here we go. Flex your feet. Invert your feet. Pull your toes down. Internally rotate your thigh bones. Don't let your toes touch. Externally rotate your arms and flatten your palms. Is your spine getting longer every time you inhale? Is it sinking into the floor every time you exhale? When you're ready, inhale your arms back. Lengthen your spine as you inhale. Exhale, push your arms overhead and see if you can drop more vertebrae into the floor. Inhale your arms longer, spine longer. Exhale, let all 24 vertebrae sink. Reach your heels now as you inhale and lengthen your spine. Keep them going and exhale, reach your arms more, drop your spine, lengthen it. Inhale, reach your heels up. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, drop your spine, push your arms past your head. Stay here for another 10 seconds and see if your heels can go up, your palms can reach overhead. All 24 vertebrae are touching down towards the floor. reaching through tailbone, through the crown. Open the palms, open the soles of the feet for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Soften one arm and then the other arm. Relax your feet, relax your legs. Stay there and just breathe. So take a couple of breaths. Let your spine relax, let your eyes relax. I don't want you to move, ideally. Stay and rest. I'm gonna move because it feels weird not looking at you. So if you can, let your whole body rest. I'm hoping that with the General ELDOA work in the beginning of this video, if you had any questions about General ELDOA, you can review the video and try it out on your own. So thanks for joining me, and I hope we'll do another one again soon. And yeah, I miss everybody. I hope everyone's keeping well and staying safe. Okay, bye.